I'm gonna talk just to line up all my videos and fun things like that. This is the camera I'm going to look into, and that's also a camera, and this is the first time I'm trying a new audio setup, and you can see how weird it looks. I'm super excited about how weird it looks. And let's see what happens, shall we? Let's shall. If you're willing to look around and listen, you can find the greatest teachers right in front of your face. Not talking about me. I didn't realize it at the time, but in between the levels and loading screens, I was quietly preparing for adulthood. For the parts no one warned me about. This is a video about the games that taught me how the world works. Not the world I wish existed. Not the world I wish existed, but the world that is ever beckoning us to improve it. The real world. Call of Duty Modern Warfare's multiplayer is fast and aggressive and reward heavy. It gives you powerful tools for doing well. Kill streaks, perks, loadouts, but only after you've already proven you can succeed. The better you do, the more you get. The worse you do, the more you're punished for it. And that doesn't just feel unfair, it is unfair. It's a textbook example of a positive feedback loop, what sociologist Robert Merton sometimes called the Matthew effect. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Named after the verse Matthew 25:29 in the Bible, where Jesus says, "For to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away." Granted, that's not exactly the context of the verse, but the idea still fits here. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. In Call of Duty, if you're struggling, you're not just dying. You're dying harder, you're dying faster, to kill streaks that you couldn't have anticipated, from players who are now running UAVs and airstrikes. Eventually, I realized that this is what the modern workplace, and honestly much of society, feels like. People who are already thriving get bonuses and promotions and mentorships. People who are struggling, even if they're doing good work, often just get more work, more surveillance, and less room for error. And if you want out, guess what? You have to grind your way, to some degree, up the ladder, if possible. Eventually, you can be the one with the UAV and calling in airstrikes, but not until you've deeply accepted that you're going to get decimated more times than you can count. And that's unfair. And that misses so much. But it is our reality. And reality, sadly, doesn't tend to account for fairness. What a shame. Call of Duty's multiplayer probably didn't intend to model the harsh realities of capitalism, but it accidentally taught me about them. And weirdly enough, that made me feel less crazy. Overwhelmed for sure, but less crazy. Like, I wasn't imagining the weirdness of the system. I was just finally seeing it. The opening hour of God of War 2 is an unforgettable power fantasy. You're a god, towering, rage incarnate. You are tearing up enemies left and right with unbelievable power. You have everything you need to be an all-powerful killing machine, to rule. And then suddenly, it's gone. The game just pulls it all away. You're made weak, alone. And the world you once ruled is now hostile and massive again. It's a really interesting game mechanic. But for me, it resonated with something all too real. You see, leaving home for college felt just like this for me, and for many others. In the latter part of my childhood, I grew up in a relatively supportive sub-community of a broader community, I suppose. I felt so capable and seen and supported and grounded. But the second I stepped into that next stage of my life, new city, new rules, new faces, I was a nobody again. I didn't feel empowered. I felt utterly stripped. Incredibly under-leveled, if you will. Like I had been betrayed and nerfed by life in a nearly unforgivable way. It took me years to understand that transition. But God of War had already warned me. It gave me language for this that society simply couldn't. When people talk about Dark Souls, they usually talk about how hard it is. But what stayed with me wasn't actually the difficulty, it was the isolation of it all. I played Dark Souls for the first time in the years right after college. I was working 2 jobs, taking continuing education classes, trying to fix up a crumbling old house. I could still see my friends, technically, but everything had changed. We were drifting, gently but steadily, like leaves in different parts of a stream. And no one was to blame, not really, it was just part of life. In Dark Souls, I felt that same quiet detachment. I was alone in a broken world. Progress was slow. I learned primarily by failing. I had to fight off urges to quit unexpectedly. Sometimes I'd catch a flicker of another player, a ghost swinging a sword in silence, or a blood stain warning me of what's up ahead. But that was it. I realized that the game world wasn't exactly evil. Me and my relationship to that world just wasn't the focal point. That's how adulthood started to feel. And for a while, I thought the distance between me and the people I loved was some kind of punishment. Like, maybe I wasn't a good enough friend, or I hadn't done enough to hold us together. Dark Souls helped me understand something. Isolation isn't personal. It's not an indictment. It just is. It's a part of the structure, a part of the architecture of this next phase of life. And somehow, seeing that played out in a bleak fantasy world gave me something I couldn't get in real life. Permission. Permission to forgive the distance and myself for thinking the distance meant something it didn't. It gave me permission to let go of the guilt, to keep walking my path, knowing others were out there that I cared about, that cared about me, walking theirs. That's a gift I can never repay to Dark Souls, but I'll happily owe that debt for as long as I need to. These games weren't trying to prepare me for life, but they did. They taught me what it feels like to be powerless, to be behind, and to be alone. Somehow also, what it feels like to keep going anyway. Games let us play out our ideas before we fully understand them. Sometimes they're cautionary tales, and sometimes emotional rehearsals. And sometimes they're just honest in ways that the world around us isn't ready to be. I didn't know it then, but I was training for life this whole time. And I'm thankful that video games have played a big role in that preparation. If you connect with a video game moment in a deep way, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. What was that moment? What gaming moment unexpectedly prepared you for life? If you want more content like this, where psychology and gaming and vulnerability and sincerity and rushed videos sometimes all collide into one giant explosion, go ahead and subscribe. You can also check me out. I'm on Blue Sky now. I'm not sure what exactly Blue Sky is, but I've been enjoying it. I've been using it. I probably have my name up here somewhere, so check it out. I'd love for you to look at it and tell me your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Thank you for video games. Thank you for the people that create video games and write these stories and show us a world that we didn't know was there. And they help us feel prepared. You guys rock. Thank you. I'm going to run to the restroom because I really got to pee.